Another very common misconception is that the Qur'an speaks to men solely in a male-directed discourse. This is an accusation frequently used by Islamophobes trying to prove that Islam regards women as negligible. I need to point out that in the Arabic language, nouns, adjectives, and verbs have a masculine form and a feminine form. There are verses of the Qur'an that address both males and females, such as, for men and women who are devoted to God, believing men and women, obedient men and women, truthful men and women, steadfast men and women, humble men and women, charitable men and women, fasting men and women, chaste men and women who remember God often. God had prepared forgiveness and a rich reward. Here we see God talking to both men and women alike, promising them the very same forgiveness and rich reward for doing the same good deeds. And the next verse talks to them about them having the same responsibility to be extremely obedient. The verse says, when God and his messenger have decided on any matter, it is not fitting for any man or woman to claim freedom of choice in that matter. Whoever disobeys God and his messenger is far astray. God also said in the Quran, I will not allow the deeds of any one of you to be lost. Whether you are male or female, each is like the other in rewards. God in all these verses is clearly addressing both males and females, assuring them that both of them are safe from any injustice. The Quran says, anyone, male or female, who does good deeds and is a believer will enter paradise, and not the least injustice will be done to them. In another example, where Allah addresses males and females alike, promising them the same reward, he says, to whoever, male or female, does good deeds and has faith, we shall give a good life and reward them according to the best of their actions. And there are verses that address women alone, like this verse which addresses the mothers of the believers. If any of you is obedient to God and his messenger and does good deeds, know that we shall give her a double reward and have prepared generous provision for her. And verses addressing female believers such as, and tell believing women that they should lower their gaze, cover their private parts, and do not display their beauty except that which is apparent. They should let their headscarves fall to cover their necklines, and not to reveal their beauty except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons, their husbands' sons, their brothers and their brothers' sons, their sisters' sons, etc. And there are also verses that address men alone, like, do not marry women that your fathers married, with the exception of what is past. This is indeed a shameful thing to do, loathsome and leading to evil. It is normal to use the masculine tense in such verses because it is clearly addressing men. Most of the verses of the Quran address both men and women, but do so in a masculine tense, since in the Arabic language, the masculine tense accommodates both sexes. Not only in the Quran is this the case. All Arab speakers use this tense. Even when an Arab male singer addresses his female loved one, he might say, Ya Habibi, which means my love, in a masculine tense. The feminine tense would be Ya Habibti, not Ya Habibi. And nobody thinks that he's a homosexual, because it's normal that in the Arabic language you can use the masculine tense for both sexes.